Food waste, a major problem, but especially around this time, Thanksgiving, Americans throw out, listen to this, 305 million pounds of food, and that equals $400 million. Thanks so much for staying with us on this Friday. I'm Tamsen Fidel.
And I'm Erin LaBelle. So there's no doubt that most people buy too much food for Thanksgiving. But have you ever really paid attention to how much is eaten and how much is thrown away?
Yeah, not only are you throwing your money in the garbage, you're also really contributing to a major environmental issue, greenhouse gas emissions. So before you do your Thanksgiving food shopping this weekend, environmental activist and author Heather White is here to help us plan a more sustainable Thanksgiving. Heather, always nice to see you.
Wonderful to be back. Thank you, Tamsen. Thank you, Erin.
Well, so those numbers are really staggering. You say that food waste contributes to 8% of global carbon emissions. And to put in perspective, what exactly does that mean?
What that means is that reducing your food waste is one of the top things you can do as an individual to do your part to stop climate change. Global carbon emissions are responsible for global warming and the extreme weather events that we're witnessing around the globe. We all can do our part, and reducing food waste is a wonderful strategy.
Okay, so one of the biggest ways we can help is by reducing waste. You say most people overbuy for big meals like Thanksgiving, but you say planning beyond the dinner plan is also important. Why is that?
It's, being mindful of how you're going to use your leftovers. That turkey carcass can make a beautiful soup for your family. You can use leftover mashed potatoes in a breakfast burrito. If you have extra pumpkin, you can put that in muffins. But thinking about how you're going to use your leftovers for Thanksgiving is a great way to buy less and use more of what you have, and a wonderful way to reduce your footprint.
All right, so let me ask you this. What is the best way to store food for leftovers? Because I know that a lot of people run out and they buy all kinds of things so they can, give it away when people are leaving the house. But is there a better way to do that?
Great question, Tamsen. One of the first things you want to do is make sure you have glass containers like Pyrex. Those plastic containers, especially the disposable ones, end up in the landfill. But if you put plastic in the microwave, toxic chemicals can leach into your food. So glass containers is really a way to be mindful. And one of the things you can do to eliminate single-use plastic is use real plates. Use that stuff that might be in your china cabinet. Maybe you got it for a wedding or an anniversary or a birthday. And even if it's funky and you don't like it that much, it could be a great story, or a centerpiece for the conversation you have with family and friends.
I love that. It could be a story, that one brown plate you have in the midst of all the white plates. All right. So what about the leftover food that was never open, like non-perishables, or that cranberry sauce that some people are not a fan of? What do you recommend people do with those?
Oh, thank you, Erin. A great resource you can do is go to Feeding America. They actually have a food bank directory where you can type in your zip code and you can find out where you can donate your leftover non-perishable food that hasn't been opened. Just a great way to pay it forward and really lean into that season of gratitude and trying to help others and embracing community.
So a lot of people would agree that the turkey is the big star of the dinner, but you say it should have more of a supporting role, which I agree with. But why do you say that?
The meat that we consume does have a big impact on the environment, how it's grown and how it's raised. So just thinking about going meatless one day a week, or thinking meat more of being a condiment as opposed to the centerpiece, and adding more plants is healthier to you for you, and also better for the environment. So just lean into those sides, try to eat as many vegetables as you can, and actually skipping meat one day a week is the equivalent of taking a car off the road for 350 miles. So a year. So if you have that habit, it's a great way to be healthier and also help the environment too.
Now, speaking of the environment, we know more people are composting these days. You've been teaching us, but there's also a group called Grow NYC that has 200 sites throughout the city where people can drop off food waste. So what type of food can be composted, and how does this all work?
Oh, excellent question. I think that's one of the questions, Erin, that keeps people from composting, is they're afraid of doing it wrong. Generally, you want to take your vegetable scraps and coffee grounds. You want to look a little bit deeper and check the fine print to make sure that you can do other things, but generally you can't do meat or other things that might be attractants to rodents and stuff like that. So I would just check the fine print, but mostly those veggie scraps, especially if you're peeling potatoes, all of that, and coffee for after dinner. Those are great resources to make that soil super rich.
So, you know, the holiday's not just about the food. We know that. Also about the family time. Are there some environmentally friendly activities out there you could do after you're done eating and you're just laying around? Maybe you have some other options?
Absolutely, Tamsen. One of the things, I mentioned when I was talking to answering Erin's question of this idea, if you have a funky candy dish that you never bring out that you got from a great aunt or something like that, that can be a wonderful story to create those memories. You can also opt outside on Black Friday. Go for a walk with family and friends. It's a wonderful time to spend time together. One of the things we have at One Green Thing is what we call a Be an Awesome Ancestor Pledge. One of the things is to start thinking of ourselves as ancestors. What type of future are we leaving the next generation, and being intentional with the stories we tell. And then just one other thing, one of the reasons I think a lot of us have been drawn to using plastic and disposable plates and dishes for Thanksgiving is kitchen cleanup. Come up with a kitchen cleanup plan, maybe even an intergenerational plan where you pair, an older member of your family or a friend with a younger member to be part of that kitchen cleanup duty. It's just amazing the types of stories and conversations that can connect people together as they're doing that cleanup after the holidays. So spend time, think about experiences, not things, and be intentional with the stories you share, especially of resilience, because we can all work together to create a cleaner, greener, better future.
I agree. I think the cleanup goes to anyone who wasn't cooking, by the way.
Right.
I mean, that's
100%.
That's a policy that I had to deal with when I was younger and now older.
All right. Well, Heather, thank you so much for joining us again today.
Such a pleasure. Thank you so much for talking to me about this and in my book too, One Green Thing, Discover Your Hidden Power to Help Save the Planet. Thanks so much.
All right. Hopefully we can put all this into practice over the holidays. For more information or to take the One Green Thing Ancestor Pledge, you can go to onegreenthing.org or on Instagram at One Green Thing.